you on The Lunchroom on RCI, Monday to Friday, 12:45 to 2 p.m. The Lunchroom. Informative, enlightening, provocative, engaging. The Lunchroom on RCI. Food for thought. The station that gives you, more lunch.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. It's Friday, March the 8th, 2024. It's International Women's Day all around the world. And this is program number 1141 of the Lunchroom. I'm your host, Calix George Jr. And in addition to 101.1 FM radio, you can also get us at our website. It is rcistlucia.com, rcistlucia.com. And we are also streaming live on Facebook. You just have to search for the official page of Radio Caribbean International. Again, the official page of Radio Caribbean International on Facebook, and you can stream us live on that platform. Be sure to share and like that link, please, with your friends and family. And if you want to call in to tell us what's on your plate today, the number to do so is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. And you can also WhatsApp into 724-0008. That means you can message in or you can call in via WhatsApp. Again, that number is 724-0008. Now, some birthday greetings for today. First going out, this is Jane King Hippolyte. Happy birthday to you. And we do hope that you're having a fantastic birthday. Hope it's a great one. Also sending birthday greetings to Mr. Roston Taylor. Happy birthday to you, Roston. And we do hope that you're especially enjoying this very wonderful birthday, and of course enjoy the weekend. And also birthday greetings going out to Miss Tara Frederick. Happy birthday to you, and wishing an absolutely fantastic birthday celebration. And of course to all the ladies, all the women out there, happy International Women's Day. Now in a little while we're going to be discussing sport. A number of upcoming events, lots to celebrate in the world of sport, especially right here in St. Lucia and in the Caribbean. I'm going to be having a conversation with my very special guest, none other than Dr. Joseph Reds Pereira. And we're also going to be taking in a call with the newly minted Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the St. Lucia Semi-Pro Football League. They're kicking off this weekend. So we're going to be speaking with Mr. Francis Daniel about that recent and new and very exciting initiative in the world of football here in St. Lucia. But first, a bit of history. In the year 1817, on this day, the New York Stock Exchange was founded. In the year 1867, the British North America Act was passed in the House of Commons in the United Kingdom, and that served as Canada's constitution for more than 100 years. 1917 on this day saw the Russian February Revolution beginning in earnest, with protests celebrating International Women's Day, and that also saw riots in the city of St. Petersburg over food rations and the conduct of the ongoing World War I. In 1948 on this day, the United States Supreme Court ruled in the case McCollum versus the Board of Education that religious instruction in schools, in public schools, is unconstitutional. 1971, a bit of sports history there. Joe Frazier ended Muhammad Ali's 31-fight winning streak at the Madison Square Garden in New York City, and he retained the heavyweight boxing title by unanimous points of decision over 15 rounds in what was dubbed the fight of the century. 1973 saw the Provisional IRA, Irish Republican Army, undertaking its first operation in Great Britain, planting 4 car bombs in London, and 10 members of the IRA, Provisional IRA, were later arrested at Heathrow Airport while trying to leave the country. And in 2014 on this day, you would recall that Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 with 239 people aboard lost contact, disappeared, prompting the most extensive search effort in history and one of the most enduring aviation mysteries. And we now move on to our dish of the day. The Daily Dish is brought to you the kind compliments of our good friends at Tiles Plus.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A plus. Need all kind of tiles. Come down to Tiles Plus. We also got gasway and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Lance Road in Castries, Bosses Grozile, and Slack Street in Dufort. Telephone number 453-7939. Tiles Plus.
Serving now, the Daily Dish. This has been
Darling.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. And how are you doing?
Good afternoon, Alex.
Wonderful. And we have on air joining us Mr. Francis Daniel, the Chief Executive Officer of the St. Lucia Semi-Pro Professional League. It is the new kid on the block, so to speak, and certainly a very recent innovation right here in St. Lucia, taking football to a whole other level. And we're going to be seeing that kicking off this weekend, I understand. And so we're very pleased to have Mr. Daniel with us to be able to discuss that. But before we actually do that, Mr. Daniel, just to allow my visitors, my listeners as well, to introduce our special guest as well. He's been regular here at the Lunchroom, Dr. Joseph Reds Pereira. Of course, everybody in the world of sport is quite familiar with him as well. Welcome, Reds.
Nice to be here. Nice to have, of course, the CEO on your program. I think it's timely. He needs, and the event needs every support possible. I was looking for my RCI shirt, but I couldn't find it for my old days here. But, you know, a lot of sport happening. What's happening at the Mendou Phillip Park is top of the heap. But you have Carifta trials at the Odlum Stadium. There is Test cricket going on in New Zealand, Test cricket going on in India, right? There is a Sandals final coming up on the 24th. The Windwards are playing today against the Leewards. And the last time I heard they were 91-1. But we want to talk Pro League, Semi-Pro League.
We're going to talk football first, indeed. But lots to talk about, indeed. Mr. Daniel, I think maybe some time ago, St. Lucia might have been considered a cricketing country. But I think we're certainly now a football country, isn't it? And your organization is certainly bringing that to another level in the coming days.
Well, that's actually, Alex and Reds, one of our objectives to make football really the sport of choice. Starting this coming weekend, like you guys say, you know, we're kind of looking forward to this milestone. In fact, we've been playing football for decades, but this is the first time we're actually going to have a league where the players will get a stipend as well as the technical staff attached to each of the 19 districts leagues.
Right, and of course that is really, really important. I know, I mean, there's a lot of work that has been done over the years in the development of football here in St. Lucia through the St. Lucia Football Association. But this certainly a very important collaboration, a very important shift in the world of football in St. Lucia. We've seen so many different events that have, you know, assisted in bringing up the hype and the excitement from futsal and small goals, competitions, intercommercial competitions happening, as well as, of course, Black Heart football. But why do you think that the semi-pro league is going to begin defining the sport of football in St. Lucia?
I think it's generally because of the partnership. It's the differentiator with what we're doing. It's not just another tournament, Alex. If you look at our vision to echo the heartbeat of football in every district, creating a vibrant local economy while providing opportunities in support of advancing national team aspirations, we've tried to capture, okay, the objectives of our two main partners in the government of St. Lucia through the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, where we are utilizing football, okay, to transform lives. Okay, so it's a lot more than just the tournament. Part and parcel of our responsibility is to go across St. Lucia, the length and breadth of St. Lucia, work with the 19 districts to find out what are the issues facing people in the football ecosystem. And that I'm talking about people like the players, the coaches, the team managers, the vendors, everyone that can benefit from football to see if we can deal with the ills that we are presently facing utilizing football, because people understand and they love the sport. If we're successful in that regard, we will be helping with some of the chronic problems we're facing right now. On the other hand, okay, if we're successful, we would be creating a larger pool of more skilled, more technical players that our other partner, the SLFA, can utilize for the various national teams, be it U17, U20, or senior national teams. So within our vision, within our mandate, we are really trying to serve two masters here.
Very, very interesting words here. Red, it looks like you wanted to say something, but before we get into that, though, Mr. Daniel, I mean, you've got a major task on your hands, putting this together in a very short space of time, and there's so many different moving parts, I'm sure, which we perhaps are not appreciative of. Tell us some of the challenges that you're faced with in making this happen.
We're utilizing engagement to deal with the challenges, and there are many. Once you start introducing money in what used to be an amateur sport, you know, it becomes very complex. Okay. We also, because of what we are trying to achieve, okay, as an organization in terms of popularizing the sport and introducing new players, younger players in the sport, there's the concept that if young people get involved in the professional sport, they would lose their amateur status, so to speak, and some of them may not be able to vie for student athlete scholarships, specifically, you know, in the States. That was a challenge for us, but with the assistance of the Attorney General's office, we've been able to tailor a waiver form that kids can now still maintain the amateur status while participating in our tournaments. So that's a win for us. Communication is a big issue, Calix. You know, and it's something that we've struggled with, trying to get information out there, you know, to every nook and cranny in St. Lucia, trying to get people to participate in change is a challenge for us. But I would, with the kind of assistance we're getting from the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports and the SLFA, I think we're probably on the right trajectory. I think the whole idea of utilizing football to create change, to create a better society, should be applauded. And I really want to take the opportunity now, Calix, to thank the government of St. Lucia for having the foresight and wisdom to make that financial investment in its people.
And it's certainly not just seed funding. It's a lot more than that in terms of what's being provided. Tell us a little bit about the financials, how it's all coming together, what the government is providing, and who else is coming to the table to provide assistance.
As it stands, government is the major how can I put it, shareholder when it comes to putting dry cash. And what we are trying to utilize is that seed money to put on what I would consider to be a high level product that would be able to attract sponsorship across the board. We're also tackling it differently. While the SPFL is the administrative body working with both entities, the ministry and the SLFA, we are using our resources, our experience to build capacity among the 19 districts across St. Lucia so that they would possess the skill set to go out there and seek sponsorship that would help, augment what we're already getting from the government. But I want to double back into how we are utilizing the funds. And people have been complaining that it's rather complex. We are actually utilizing the funds to pay players and the technical teams. But specific to the players, the payment is broken down into two components. Okay, there's a component that relates to you actually being part of the first 11 and playing. So you get a certain sum for being on the first 11 as well as coming off the bench. Okay, then there's another percentage you would get if you're in the first 18 but you never got a chance to play. And of course, there's another percentage you get if you were shortlisted in the first 22. Try to understand this. The idea is to encourage players, okay, to work at their art, work at their form, so that they move from the first 22 into the 18 into the first 11. So we are trying to change attitudes utilizing that formula. There's a second component of what we are going to be paying players, and that's where we consider it to be commitment, and it deals with discipline, punctuality, and attendance. Now, Calix, we know that professionalizing a sport is not only about paying people, but it's how we behave, okay? And we're hoping with our approach to commitment, we would sort of elevate the thinking, the attitude of players going forward. Being mindful that we're doing a semi-professional league, so that's we're augmenting the take-home pay for some players who have full-time jobs. It would do the country well. It would do the businesses well if the people they employ have this kind of commitment to like I said, discipline, punctuality, attendance, and that is what the government has recognized, and that is what we are charged with the responsibility of going out there, not only providing tournaments, but providing training, providing workshops, engaging the various districts on a level where we can improve the performance, the overall performance of all the players in the football ecosystem.
Very, very interesting. And I mean, just based on what you're saying, of course, 19 teams of 22 persons roughly per team. You're talking about 420 or so young people who are going to be getting some sort of remuneration through this football semi-pro league. But in addition to that, of course, you did mention the support for the teams themselves, the coaches, the technical people. How has that been? Because I mean, that sometimes, do we have enough coaches to support those teams that we have, those 19 teams?
I would say yes, based on what the SLFA has reported in terms of the number of people they've trained over the years, and I think they're doing a marvelous job as far as ensuring that our coaches who are attached to the various districts have license that they can utilize beyond the shores of St. Lucia. I know right now most of the the coaches who are going to be attached to the district leagues must have a C license, and we're talking about a CONCACAF FIFA C license that's recognized around the world. And there's a move right now to offer the B license sometime in March. So not only do we have the quantum of coaches, but the qualification comes with it. And that's kudos to the SLFA for having that foresight.
Well, certainly that is very good to know, because you're putting on a lot of matches in the coming season. Tell us about that, the organization there, the schedule. How many matches are we talking about? We know 19 teams, but what do we? I think I saw that figure, 81. Is that correct? 81 matches.
91 to be exact, because 91. we didn't talk about the playoffs. 91 okay. Over just 3 months. We're starting off on the 10th, and I'm hoping Calix will see you at the Mindo Philip Park this coming Sunday, and we're culminating sometime mid-September. Reason being that while we are running this semi-professional league, we've left space within our fixture to allow the SLFA to do some of its amateur games with clubs, as well as allow the districts to do some of its amateur games with their own affiliates. We've worked around other people who have staple tournaments on the annual calendar. You spoke about Black Hat. There's also veterans in sports. So we've scheduled around that. We've scheduled around jazz. We've scheduled around carnival. And of course, the big thing for 2024 is, of course, ICC World Cup. So we've been able to schedule around that. And once we get started, players, the associated district leagues can take our fixture and say, well, okay, I know between now and the next 6 months, these are the games I'm going to be playing. It should be noted, though, that although we have 19 districts, they're broken down into 2 tiers. There's tier 1, which is like everything else, the top tier, and that comprises 10 teams. So each team will get an opportunity in a league format to play 9 games. And there's tier 2 now, which has 9 teams, and each district will get to play 8 games. We've done the fixture in such a way that on every given night, and our playing days are going to be on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and we have earmarked the Dennery playing field, the Philip Marsley ground, the Soufrière Mini Stadium. We're looking at canneries too, because it's a popular community. It's not available right now, but we're eyeing it, hoping that something will be done to the surface so we can have games there. And once ICC World Cup is done, we'll be right back up in the north, and patrons in the north, supporters in the north can look forward to a spell of exciting football at the Mindo Philip Park.
Really, really interesting indeed. Now, I know Reds has some questions. One more from me, though. Team selection, how is that going? Who's involved? How will the teams be selected?
We've already selected the teams in the tiers. During the last 3 years, the SLFA in the amateur setup have had this Island Cup that is going on. And over the last 3 years, the teams have really positioned themselves in terms of their strength. We have just adopted this, but we are rebranding. It's no longer the Island Cup. It's the 2024 SPFL, and we're utilizing the last set of qualifiers, the 2023 qualifiers. We're going to be inheriting that and moving forward. As far as selection on the individual teams, of course, that will be the mandate of the technical team. And I just want to segue for a while. The technical team that we are catering for would have a head coach, an assistant coach, a team manager, an equipment manager, and a physiotherapist. That's what we're catering for. We're saying to the technical teams that this is what we're going to be assisting with, but if you could find a finance, you could always bring on a goalkeeper coach or other technical personnel you think that would give you an advantage in our tournament.
Very, very interesting indeed. Lots of support there for those teams. Reds, any questions as well for Mr. Francis Daniel?
Oh, I have a few, but let me say it's an exciting time because Francis will say that St. Lucia is the third country in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Trinidad, now St. Lucia, to start in this venture. Francis, let me wish you the very, very best of luck, you and your entire team. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. As you board an extra week, which you obviously felt was necessary to cross all the T's and dot all the I's, what's been the focus for the last week?
Engagement. Just like when I last met you, it's more about engagement. It's finalizing some of the legal documents that required. I spoke about the waiver form for the youth developing player contracts, really adjusting the rules of the game and things like, since we're talking about giving players and technical staff a stipend, we had to get a mechanism, okay, where the various districts can report on what is going on and submit this to the SPFL, who would be doing a bit of auditing before we make the payment. So since we last spoke, Reds, there's been a lot going on in terms of going around the island, speaking to people, kind of exposing them to the heart and soul of the SPFL, exposing them to the values. I spoke to you about this, and I don't think Calix knows about it, but we want to live our values through those who are participating with us. And for the audience, it's about respect, social responsibility, integrity, passion for the game, collaboration, empowerment, education, and of course, since we're talking about getting the football ecosystem involved, the entire football ecosystem involved, we're talking about inclusivity. So, yes, right.
Yes, you start on Sunday with a doubleheader. What's the buzz regarding the four teams who are going to play in the opening?
If you follow us on our social media platforms, we've been posting some of the training and practice sessions, and it's really building up. It's really, really building up. Babonor has been doing a fantastic job. So has Masha. Masha has we've not seen that kind of football in Masha for a while, and I think that really that has really ignited the passion in the Masha camp. I recently spoke to the entire team after practice recently, and I was so impressed with these guys, and I think that's a team to look out for, those young guys in Masha. So Masha and Babono would get us off and running. That is, of course, after a brief ceremony where the Minister of Youth Development and Sports, the SLFA president, and hopefully the acting Prime Minister, since the Prime Minister is off island, would be gracing us with their presence and saying a few words to get things started. We do the first doubleheader, like I said, Babono Masha. We'll be having some entertainment, of course, with our hype man Hollywood, HP and Jacques Grosile himself, Ezra the Fun Machine, following which is the big, huge game. And people, when they look at the schedule of 91 games, they think this is arguably the biggest game. So why are you starting with this? It's because we want to do a bang. We're talking about Jacques Grosile, the Grosile District League, coming up against defending champions, Leclerc. So we think, based on the time we're starting, the program we've put together, we start at 1:30, and we want to go up to 6, noting, of course, that the Mindo Philip Park doesn't have lights, so security and protection for our patrons is key in our planning. But we think it's going to be a really fun time, and we're billing this event, Reds, as a Sunday after lunch family gig. So I expect to see both you and Calix there, mingling with the folks.
Definitely want to be there indeed. Tell us your social media handles, because you did mention that you're on social media and people can go online and get the schedule. Maybe you could give us a sense of how to get that.
On IG, you can just go SLU semi-pro football and St. Lucia semi-pro football on Facebook, and you get to see all the information that we've been uploaded. Bearing in mind that we recently got ourselves a marketing and sponsorship officer whose responsibility over the last week is trying to populate those platforms to ensure that we get information out there. So yes, do take a look, do visit. I know y'all didn't ask, but tickets are available on site at $20. We think $20 is reasonable considering the high level of entertainment that we're going to be offering. So there will be no ticket outlet, so to speak. You come and you buy your tickets on site.
Well, you just jumped the gun on me. Let's look at the tickets booths. Where are the entry points at the Mendou Villa Park?
There will be one mobile ticket booth actually on the Marsha grounds. So all entries will be in that gate, that huge gate, red gate on the Marsha Road. It will be we've really beefed up our traffic and security to ensure that patrons coexist when they come there with residents. Our VIP will be utilizing the court on the Marsha grounds. The gate closest to the river would be the exits, but generally as a football entity, we've taken a decision that will allow people to park in town and find their way to the park rather than allowing them to park on the Marsha grounds. That's a position we've taken, right. and we're gonna stick to that, Alex. We just don't want people, parking on the Marsha ground. It's just not right at this point in time.
Right.
So we're asking the patrons to be understanding. There's a lot of space. We're going to ensure that we have sufficient, parking wardens along the Marsha Road into Anchipo, because we know the numbers going to be huge, just based on the feedback that we are getting from the rest of St. Lucia.
Indeed. Got one more? Yeah.
A lot of supporters will want to know in advance what are the colors of the team that they come into the Mendou Park to support. What are the colors of the four teams playing?
Reds, if you're a supporter of Grosile and you don't know, Grosile plays in baby blue.
Oh, I'm not asking for myself.
I think you'd have to. I think you have to buy me and Calix a couple of drinks when you get there.
I am not asking for myself.
What's that?
Not asking for myself. I'm asking for the listeners.
Well, look at it this way. Marsha normally plays in green, and they could surprise us because I understand they got a new kit.
Okay.
Leclerc has a very attractive kit with red and yellow, and of course, based on what I'm seeing at Babono in the friendlies, they've been playing in yellow. But then again, this is a big occasion. This is a milestone for those teams. They've been planning for this. So don't be surprised if these guys show up with fresh kits. Even our match officials, and I only collected these, a short while ago, our match officials will be donning new kits with new logos on it. And for the first time in St. Lucia, our match officials will have electronic devices where they will be able to communicate in real time to deal with some of the on-field issues they have.
Wonderful.
For the first time, they're going to be equipped with that.
Certainly, very, very good to see that. Just a quick question here about exposure and coverage. Is there going to be any coverage, live coverage at all? Is that part of the long term, or even for this upcoming those two matches on the weekend?
Alex, you want me to tell you that we're going to be streaming the game so that people will decide I prefer to stay at my home and not come to the park?
Well,
Is that what you're asking me?
I'm just wondering in terms of your system, because I know for a lot of other places, I mean, when you want to bring it to overseas and make it big, the television rights are a big issue. So
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's been discussed at the board level. We are going to be moving in that direction. But this being an opening, a big thing, we want to ensure that, you know, the cameras pick up the numbers, because that's what we want to show the rest of the world.
Right.
But I have a surprise for you. You just show up on Sunday, and you will see how this goes down.
very interesting. I suspect we'll be on TV, Reds. But
You know that, right?
well, it's been certainly wonderful. We have been discussing the launch, the grand opening of St. Lucia's first ever semi-pro football league. Third of its kind in the Caribbean, as Reds was just mentioning. We've been speaking with the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Francis Daniel. He's been giving us all the details as to what is coming up. 91 matches to be played over the next 6 months, kicking off this weekend, Sunday, at the Mindu Phillip Park, and culminating in some playoffs sometime in the month of September. 19 teams to look into. They're spread across 2 tiers, and lots of support being provided, of course, from the Government of St. Lucia, Ministry of Youth Development and Sport, the St. Lucia Football Association, and other partners making it happen. And, of course, Reds, I suspect you have one more question you want to squeeze in?
Yes, I just want to remind Francis, when I came to St. Lucia, there was Popham just finishing. We have come a long way from Popham.
Mr. Daniel, are you there?
I'm there. I'm listening. You putting this across so eloquently. I can only listen, Alex.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think he was mentioning. Go ahead, Reds.
No, when I came to St. Lucia in '84, and I was here before
that was the year I was born, Reds. But wow, okay.
All right. The Windwards are playing Popham. I'm saying to you, Francis, that this is coming a long way from the days of Popham.
It is, and I just want to leave in by encouraging St. Lucians to understand that this is not just another tournament. We expect to raise the standard of the entertainment level, but this is a lot more than just football. And I'm just soliciting support from the entire St. Lucia to work with us, okay, as we leverage football to transform lives.
Indeed, and it is a wonderful and massive undertaking, of course, that is being put forward. As mentioned, 19 teams. We're talking about nearly 420 players that are going to be playing 81 matches over the next 6 months. Over 130 support staff supporting those teams, and of course lots of other people working in the background to make it happen. And of course the grand opening, it's happening this coming Sunday, March the 10th, at the Mindu Phillip Park, St. Lucia's oldest sporting ground, and it's happening at 1 o'clock. It's just $20. Marsha versus Babino. That's the tier 2 match from 2, and at 4 p.m. Grosley, of course, we are not going to mention who I'm backing, versus Leclerc in that tier 1 happening at the Mindu Phillip Park. And of course, we want to thank profusely Mr. Francis Daniel, the CEO of St. Lucia's Semi-Pro Football League. Any parting words from you, Mr. Daniel?
It's been a pleasure sharing the platform to express to the rest of St. Lucia the good work that the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, in collaboration with the SLF, has been doing. It's going to be, we're just starting. It can only get better based on what I see is happening, and I ask St. Lucia, all walks of life, to participate, because we will be in their neck of the woods. And once we're done with the Minder Phillip Park, we'll be spending the next weekend in Dennery, and I think from then on, Vieux-Fort and on to Soufrière, and the train just keeps going. So look out for us. We'll be in your neck of the woods pretty soon.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Mr. Francis Daniel, CEO of St. Lucia Semi-Pro Football League. And, of course, that historic grand opening is happening at the Minder Phillip Park this coming Sunday from 1 o'clock. Hope you can be there for that. That has been our dish of the day. We're going to take in our weather report, and when we come back, we'll just do a bit of a quick wrap-up looking at the world of sport.
Vin, the Daily Dish.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A+. There's all kind of tiles. Come down to Tiles Plus. We also glass and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down, don't mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Lance Road in Castries, Bossage Grosile, and Slack Street in Vieux-Fort. Telephone number 453-7939. Tiles Plus.
Island style, yeah. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, yeah. We'll have to make the right choice. Island style, whoa. We got the time that will make you happy. Island style, oh yeah. We make your dream come alive. In Island style,
we have tiles and thin sets, mixes and ground. Everything you need to sort the house out. For the best price and the latest style, take a little drive down to Island Style Car.
We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, quality, price, service, choice. It's all an Island Style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Bellarosa, Rodney Bay, on the John Crompton Highway, Castries, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Vieux-Fort Highway. So call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
And that's of course the 1.1. It's now time for your weather report. As of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Talent Bar. The forecast valid for St. Lucia for the next 24 hours. The winds will be blowing from between the east and east-southeast near 70 miles per hour or 28 kilometers per hour. The weather fair to occasionally cloudy skies with a few scattered showers, mainly during the morning. The forecast for the West Antilles over the northern Windward Islands and southern Leeward Islands, partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered showers. Elsewhere, fair to partly cloudy with a few brief showers. And the weather summary: the Atlantic high pressure system will continue to generate moderate easterly winds across the eastern Caribbean region during the next few days. Weak unstable conditions will cause some scattered showers over the northern Windward Islands and southern Leeward Islands during the next 24 hours. Relatively dry and stable conditions will prevail over the remainder of the Lesser Antilles during the forecast period. And this was a weather report as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Talent Bath.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Island style, yeah. We got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, yeah. We'll have to make the right choice. Island style, whoa. We got the time that will make you happy. Island style, oh yeah. We make your dream come alive. In Island style,
we have tiles and thin sets, mixes and ground. Everything you need to sort the house out. For the best price and the latest style, take a little drive down to Island Style Car.
we got the time to make you go. We got the time to make you say, quality, price, service, choice. It's all an Island Style.
Visit us at our showrooms in Bellarosa, Rodney Bay, on the John Crompton Highway, Castries, and behind Ruby's Gas Station on the Library Viewfort Highway. Or call us on 450-452 or 453-TILE. Island Style Tile and Bath. When you think tile, think Island Style.
And welcome back to the lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. And of course, we were just speaking with Mr. Francis Daniel, the CEO of the St. Lucia Semi-Pro Football League, which is kicking off a historic start over at the Mindu Phillip Grounds in Marsha this coming weekend. But certainly, we've been on a bit of a high since the beginning of March, and that was thanks to the sterling performance over at the Emirates Arena in Glasgow, Scotland, in the United Kingdom, by our very own superstar out of Cicero, St. Lucia, Julian Alfred, bringing home one of the 26 gold medals, I believe, that were up for grabs or so in the sports, in those athletics matches over in Glasgow.
Yeah, what a facility, first of all, a high-quality facility. And Julian Alfred and the rest really put on a great show. I think the gold medal behind her, plus I think $40,000 for winning the race, if I can judge over what I'm seeing other people got. Mm-hmm. Of course, if you would run 4x1 and you run a 4x4, you probably would have picked up more money if you were in the winning row. But the period between now and Paris gives her all the time in the world to maybe take a week off and start getting back down into shape. I don't believe she'll be running any more races other than what will take place in Paris. But you couldn't ask for a better
a lead up to the Olympics coming up.
Yeah, sure. An athlete not doing well would have left Glasgow, uncertain about themselves. But Julian Alfred, came up trumps. And we must also remember the girl from Dominica, Lafon, in the triple jump. So we had two OECS medals in a sense.
For the first time, gold, both of them.
Yes, both of them. I think, that was a major thing for Dominica, to have a world sort of international gold medal, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's just great. I thought that she handled the interviews very well. A little tense at the start, but you can expect that. This is a world event; millions are watching. And she ran a brilliant final at 40 meters. It was almost neck, shoulder to shoulder, and then she just went into overdrive, and it was a marvelous day for St. Lucians all over the world.
And definitely, we're looking forward to even greater, success coming up in the Olympics. But much, much larger event. Some people may say might feel even overwhelming when you get into into Paris, into the Olympic Stadium for the opening, and far, far greater in terms of the scale.
The opening will be done on the rivers through Paris.
The Seine River, right?
Yes. And just talking about the Olympics, it's 100 meters, 200 meters, depending if she's going to run both.
Right.
It's not 60.
Not a 60.
And it gives you, all the athletes a chance to might be slow to the blocks, but you can work your way back. Work your way back.
And of course, I mean, in the World Athletics Championships, I think about 128 countries participated. In the Olympics, it's pretty much going to be everybody, all 193 plus. And a lot of pressure, though.
Yeah, one or two stars were not there. The girl from Venezuela, who normally dominates the triple jump, she didn't go, for example. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the 100 meters runners who are not maybe all that keen to run the 60 didn't go. I mean, none of the real top Jamaicans didn't go. I mean, that's their choice. But I think it was a plus for those who went to Scotland.
Well, we're wishing her the very best, and hopefully, whatever she got from through that, you said mentioned that $40,000 take home. Hopefully, at least it'll be matched by whatever she's getting from local support here in St. Lucia.
Well, she's got a shoe contract, and I think maybe in discussions now with a number of other private sector groups, so she's in a position where she can bargain.
Exactly, definitely. Now, we're also moving towards Cricket World Cup coming up in the Caribbean. What's the take on that? I know a lot of resources being put into getting the grounds up and running and in better condition in preparation for that.
Well, all of the countries in the Caribbean who are hosting, I mean, the Darren Sammy it's a work site. I did an interview with Francis at the Darren Sammy a couple of weeks ago. And we had to say, look, we're at the work site, so excuse the background noise. But right across the region, I mean, pitches are being relayed. I think the pitches being relayed at the Darren Sammy, I suppose that's happening everywhere else. The Julian Charles stand, the roof has been taken down. I'm going to try and do an interview with Wade O'Geese when it's possible to get across the solutions what exactly is taking place. One of the things a lot of the people in the Caribbean are asking is, what is the cost of tickets? What's the cost of tickets, you know? That to me is very important, because if we go back to 2007, the tickets were too expensive. The tickets were much too expensive. And of course, you had the problem where you couldn't bring your bugles, you couldn't bring your horn, you couldn't bring your tata drums. That is not going to happen this occasion. So that, I think, that is being cleared.
This time around, we're in the Western Hemisphere. Not too many cricket-playing countries in the Western Hemisphere. Of course, it's West Indies hosting with the United States. There are actually 4 venues being played, matches being played in 4 venues in the United States, which is certainly more than what we saw in 2007. I think there was an attempt with Lauderhill.
One just started to be built yesterday, and the contractors are saying it will be ready by June. The start is in the America on the 1st of June, and then Guyana hosts the West Indies against Papua New Guinea. Those are the first 2 dates.
Mm-hmm. I mean, definitely an attempt to try to rekindle the tradition of cricket in the United States of America. I mean, I know way back in like the 1890s, there were quite a number of cricket clubs in the United States. People, you know, even countries like the Caribbean, the West Indies would tour Canada and the United States.
Our first tour was, in fact, to the USA.
So really an attempt there to, and even in the marketing, I'm noticing as well, to try to pull that American audience.
What I'd like you to do, if it's possible, is to check with our hoteliers and see what the bookings are like. I think that can be an indication.
Right.
Because that will be a spin-off into the economy or restaurants, taxis, you know, the gambit.
Of course, some countries have decided not necessarily to make that investment. I think Dominica being one of them.
Dominica, Jamaica. St. Kitts, Grenada. Deciding, after looking at what it will cost to get in, you had to make a bid and things like that. I know Michael Finley from St. Vincent is heading it there, and there's a lot of work to be done.
Well, it's certainly going to be very interesting. 6 venues in the Caribbean and 4 up in the United States to be able to pull that off, of course. One would say it's not as the scale and hype, certainly not as what it was in 2007 when we last hosted the World Cup here in the Caribbean.
And what's also important, that other than, let's say, the Darren Sammy or the main grounds being ready, you have to prepare 2 practice grounds.
Right.
right? They
And
were,
traditionally Mindu Phillip Park and the Grosley
yep,
field with
two practice grounds, so that the teams could have access as soon as they land.
well, hopefully we can hear a lot more about that ICC Cricket World Cup in the coming weeks and months ahead.
Yes,
as it
they've
happens.
been a little slow to me in pumping out, but maybe they have their own schedule.
Indeed. Well, Reds, it's always a pleasure having you on here at Radio Caribbean International. Hope you can find your shirt for the next time, your RCI shirt. And of course, it's always wonderful. It's been a good week, and we hope that you can join us again for another one next week, God willing, here at the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. So again, thanks Mr. Francis Daniel, CEO of the St. Lucia Semi-Pro League, Dr. Joseph Reds Pereira, a sports aficionado of great acclaim all around the world.
And let's wish the young athletes this weekend. They're doing the Carifta trials at the George Orlam, and I think St. Lucia is trying to send about 25 to Grenada.
Indeed. And of course, once again, happy International Women's Day to all the women out there. And of course, we got a big gift from Julian to celebrate women in St. Lucia.
And one must say congrats to the Cricket Association, because they actually put out a statement about the International Day.
Wonderful indeed. So do have yourself a very blessed weekend. I'm your host, Calix George Jr., saying goodbye.